do is win, 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 no matter what.
Good morning! Happy Tuesday! Long day! Happy Tuesday, guys! Check this out. I got one earring in. How funny is that? Take that earring out. Alright, good morning, guys! We got some jam. Today's 2 degrees. Yep. Amanda and Heather. I love this song. Makes me feel like it wins. You can do it. No dance. Get my hair. Look at my hair fixed this week. Alright. Hopefully some people will jump on. We're a few minutes early this morning.
Yep.
A few minutes early.
Bomb life.
Yeah, Amanda's got to be at a field trip at 9:30, so we're going a little early. So hopefully we'll catch a few people. They'll catch us before it's all over with. Good morning. I said happy Wednesday, happy Tuesday, and I'm laughing at myself because Hot Mess over here had one earring in. Don't know where the other one is. I don't know. I hope I didn't lose it. 'Cause some of my favorite earrings.
And I got some like sun flare that the photographer in me appreciates, but
yeah,
maybe not in this
angel.
video.
You're like,
oh,
the
it's
light.
the light. Okay.
Beamed up.
So, yay! We
Good
hope
morning.
you guys are having a very beautiful, blessed day so far. And we're so excited for you to join us.
Yes. Good morning. We're going to talk about commitment. Woo! New Year's resolutions.
Yes, ma'am.
2018 is coming on fast. It's December the 5th. 5th. All right. 20
Y'all,
days till Christmas.
Exactly. And it's going to be here. I feel like, I don't know, I already feel like I'm behind.
I do too. I
But
totally do.
It's whatever.
I totally do. I spent yesterday subbing, and while the kids were working on stuff, I was just making a list.
I mean,
like, if I have all my lists together, maybe I'll have my act together. I don't know.
my problem is I just can't get that far ahead because I wind up with gifts and I stash them all random places and then I forget what I buy.
I end up overbuying when I buy too early.
Or you don't find it.
I had a friend that has hers done she has hers done before like October. She's like done. She shops all year.
That's good for her.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay,
Anyway. Commitment.
So, commitment, New
Somebody
Year.
will join us.
And we are talking about the difference between commitment and intention.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's
So, great question for you. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
I don't really.
Okay.
I make more of like a plan.
Okay. We're going to talk about the keyword, the plan. Yeah. I used to make New Year's resolutions, and now I basically choose a word for the year.
Yeah.
So, my word for 2 years ago was Jubilee. That's because I was like all about rest, resetting my health, all that kind of stuff. And then the word for this year was discipline. Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what my word. I haven't decided my word for next year yet.
I haven't either.
Yep. So
no, to answer your question, I mean, I don't really
make New Year's resolutions.
No, I mean.
So the question is, do you make New Year's resolutions? Let us know if you make New Year's resolutions. We'd love to hear the answer to that question. How do you do New Year's resolutions? Like, do you make a decision? Do you choose a word? Do you choose a theme for your year? How does that work? And so intention. What's the definition of intention?
Well, I don't have the definition, but intention is more like interest, desire, a preference,
a plan.
You
said you had a plan.
I know. That's so bad, right?
Okay. So basically it means that it's flexible, that if circumstances change, you have a way out, and that you don't necessarily have to follow through with what you've intended to do, right?
Right.
So that's intention.
So commitment is a decision,
right?
A promise.
Decision is a big word.
A promise, or like dedication, like
no matter what happens,
exactly.
I'm doing this. This is happening, right?
Yeah, you're committed to it,
right? I can't see the comments. I don't know.
You've drawn a line in the sand. You're saying this is happening,
right? So what's the language around each one of those words? So I was reading something and it said the language around intention is I plan to, I have the desire to, I need to, I use that word all the time. I need to do something. I'll try. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Right? But the language around commitment is I will, I'm going to.
Yes.
I'll have it to you by X number of date. Like you actually put a date on it. Right? And that's like you actually you're going to do it no matter what. It don't matter
Right.
what's going to happen.
And if you go into a situation with like a habit of failure, basically, right? I mean, if you know that you failed so many other times, you kind of get in a habit of making plans and them failing.
Right.
And then at first it kind of stinks because you're like, oh, I didn't make my goal. But then the more times it happens, you just kind of become adjusted to it.
Yeah, like you can become numb to it almost. It's like, it still hurts, but it's not near as bad. You're like, oh, well, I made that plan to like lose weight and I didn't follow, I'm off the wagon, and go figure, every year I do it this
Or
way.
you kind of
so-
like let excuses
Mhm.
get in the way.
Yeah. Like there's always a reason, or there's always a distraction, there's always something. Like
So that is like your intention.
Right.
You intended to do stuff. But
so a habit of failure versus a habit of success. So it's
people have like backup plans, but I feel like sometimes backup plans are not a good idea. Right?
Purposely, if I have a backup plan, I know that I'm only going to work something one day and I maybe not work it the next 2 or 3 days. I'm always going to have an excuse. Like, it's always like, oh, well, if it works out, it works out, right?
Yeah.
It's
And
like-
I know, like me struggling with anxiety, I have a backup plan a lot of times because that's like one of my coping mechanisms.
Oh,
So like
That's good.
like because if there's a situation that I know there could be an issue, then I always plan like an escape route, right? Like the eject button, like I'm out, I'm safe, like I can get out of this situation, which is kind of not a good idea when
But
you're
that-
approaching bigger things.
like if you're actually wanting to succeed at something,
Right.
you shouldn't have that. But I could see it in your case. Like for anxiety purposes, if you don't have that, then the anxiety actually increases.
Yes.
The harder things get.
I have to plan for different situations
Yeah. Okay.
so that I'm prepared.
well, that's good. That's
But
good to know. I didn't
But
know
I mean,
that.
but it doesn't mean that there's always this one that I'm hoping, like, this is what I'm going for, this is what I'm setting my sights on, this is what I'm shooting for,
right.
but I still have to have an escape route.
That's okay. That's pretty good.
I mean,
that's different. I mean, I never think about it like that. But for someone that's struggling with anxiety, you would probably need to have that
Yeah.
in your head. That's
Yeah.
good. I read a story where John F. Kennedy, he actually stated that we would land a person on the moon, and they didn't even have like half of the technology developed. Even the metals they used to land somewhere on the moon hadn't even been like researched. They didn't know. Like he made that statement as the president of the United States to the world.
that's bold.
That's bold. And they didn't even have all the technology in place to land somebody on the moon. But he's like, we're going to do this. That is commitment. That is true commitment for sure. So let's talk
Wow.
about ways to be committed. So now we know the difference between intention and commitment and the language you need to use if you're going to be committed to something in 2018. Whoop whoop, it's coming fast.
Yay.
So ways to be committed. One, you need to identify 1 or 2 areas that you want to be committed in.
I think that is key. Y'all, don't have a list of so many things that you can't keep
Right.
up with it, or that you feel overwhelmed.
That's the reason
You
why we
can't-
call this 2 degrees.
Right. You can't
2 degrees.
You
right?
can't
1, 2.
manage if you take on too many changes at once.
Right. Just pick something. Pick one thing, or pick 2 things.
Right.
Right.
That's why sometimes declaring a word is easier.
Right.
Saying organization is going to be my word, or discipline is going to be my word.
Yeah.
'Cause
Or
discipline-
health is going to be your word. Whatever it is, like whatever your area is. And then number 2 is like you make a commitment. You make a decision. Like you use the words I will, I'm going to, not I need to,
Yes.
I'm going to try to.
This year I will
Yes.
be healthier.
Right. I will lose weight. I will,
Yeah.
run that race, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I will I'm using physical health as an example. And then number 3 was make a commitment public. That one's scary. Because there is no
Yes,
turning
'cause you
back.
want-
Now your reputation's on the line.
You want people, but everybody knows an accountability partner will help you so
Right.
much.
So make it
So-
it doesn't necessarily have to be to a lot of people public. It could be
True.
pick a couple of people, but you need
True.
somebody to hold you accountable and actually put it in writing. That is huge for commitment.
Yes.
Huge commitment. And number 4 was you need to invest time in those 1 or 2 areas that you picked. So you need to make sure you prepare, you practice, you reflect, you actually block time in your life, in your day,
Yes.
in your week to be committed to
That
that area
is huge.
that is huge.
Like,
Otherwise,
if you
life will
say,
just take over.
If your goal is I want to eat healthier,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't go to the grocery store,
And you don't prepare
and you don't,
meals.
and you don't even have a plan about what you're going to eat.
Right. Right.
You
That-
have to make that commitment. This is happening. Like,
Right.
these are the steps that I'm going to take to get there.
Yep.
Right? Break it
Yeah,
down.
That's good. That's good. And number 5 is reflect on your progress. Oh goodness, don't underestimate reflecting. Reflecting is like where you grow. That's where you see, like I always tell people, journal if you can, and write it all out, and then go back and see your progress, go back and see where you've, slipped up.
Yes.
Go back and just see your language that you use. I've been doing these things called morning pages where you just get up in the morning and you basically brain dump this everything in your head, and I laugh at myself because it's turned into my to-do list. Right? I can go through and highlight, because obviously I wake up with anxiety of 15,000 things that need to get done. So that's what gets dumped on the paper. And I just realized when we're talking about languages for these words, I use the words I need to all the time. I need to do this. I need to do that. And that's intention. That's not necessarily commitment. Right? Because intention means you have a way out. Your plan is flexible, right? Commitment means you've made a decision. This is what's going to happen. Big.
Yep.
That's what we had for you guys.
Yes.
A couple of you guys joined us at that last. I'm sorry we were a few minutes early, so you may not have caught the beginning of it. Go back and watch the beginning. Amanda has a field trip with Sullivan, and so we needed to go early so
Yes,
she can get where
ma'am.
she needs to get this morning.
Yay.
For sure. But anyway, commitment.
Yes.
You guys, I'd love to hear. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you're committed to. Tell us if you make New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
And how you go about doing it. Do you choose a word for the year? We'd love to hear your suggestions or how you accomplish things
Right.
in your life. That makes our lives better. We don't want to just pour out to you. We want you guys to pour back to us.
Yes,
for sure.
because we don't have all the answers.
Nope.
And we're
We
always
don't.
open to learning more from everyone else.
Absolutely.
So, don't forget to share this if you like it.
Like it, comment, share it
Yeah.
out. Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have a beautiful Tuesday. It's gorgeous here in South Texas. I hope it's pretty where you are. If it's cold, then get a cup of hot cocoa or coffee or
Tea,
something,
hot tea.
and nuzzle up next to a fire. We love you guys. Have a blessed Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.